Good morning, everyone. It's Joker, and today we are back with another slime video. And after some testing, I believe it is now time to do the showcase for the new Fire Lumi, the True Vampire. She's she is certainly something. Okay, she's got the whole 3-turn heal and 3-turn revive, and you literally can't die for 3 turns. And that sounds cool on paper. Until you realize that there are some heavy conditions. So before we get to that, she is fire, she is magic, so we have yet another AoE Fire Lumi, that's the EX, alongside Summer Lumi, who is also, not all that in the bag of chips. She uses a book, which you can either forge, take off somebody like Fire Benimaru, or you can buy it from the Anniversary Part 1 coin shop. Her weapon is in there, along with most everyone else has come out. And she is a defense growth character. She is not an offensive character. She is not the DPS of the meta, so, that's fine. We're supposed to be a little bit more defensive on this team anyways. And then her ult is an AoE, like I said. She also gives everybody extra attack when you use her, so she will ult first before everybody, just to ensure that you do maximum power. And then her skills. Applies Resurrection State to Determination to Prosper and Commander Force characters. I am, from this point on, just going to call it Prosper. I'm not going to call it Determination to Prosper, so just heads up there. So Prosper and Commander allies for 3 turns. At the end of the turn, recovers 100% of HP lost, and if incapacitated, you die, revives with 100% of max HP, once per battle. So, first off, this once per battle is the use of the skill, not the revive part. So, whenever you do this, you can only use the entire skill one time during a fight, and it lasts for 3 turns. So you have to choose at what point do you want this revive and this full heal up? Do you want it turn 5 to turn 8, turn 4 to turn 7? Because you're only going to do it one time. And if you take damage at the end of the turn, you'll just heal back up to full. If you die, you will immediately revive with full HP. And then if you happen to take more damage, then you'll heal back up after that. And if you die again, you will revive. So, in theory, you could be single target ulted 3 times, and you could die all 3 times, and you would revive 3 times in one turn. And you'd be like, okay, well, cool, let's move on. It sounds really cool, except it's locked to a Prosper team and Commander team, which already, Commander, like I've been saying, has received a lot of buffs very recently. But if you haven't summoned very recently, you may be hurting a little bit. The Prosper team is really not all that great. It's a few EX characters, some of them are collabs, and then a whole bunch of old 5-stars. So you've got conditions here to use this. So if you're not on these 2 teams, you get no revive, you get no heal, you're shit out of luck. Alright, moving on. Her second skill is a full hand convert to blue orbs if they are fire or earth characters. And then she gives a 10% gauge increase. Fire and Earth, the 2 least represented elements in the game. There are more fire options than Earth, not by much though, and not all of these Fire and Earth characters are actually good. So you're kind of gimping your team, essentially, by putting out-of-date, old, not useful for a blue-focused, stacking defense team. You're going to build it around this, while having to maintain some Prosper or Commander allies, and at that point, it's like, do you have a team that you can run efficiently that Lumi's actually going to protect? Do you have good Earth and Fire characters who also are going to be on Prosper and Commander? That way you cannot die. If you don't, you're going to have to do some really funny playing around and swapping in and out when you actually decide to use this skill, which you can certainly do. But, man, they couldn't have made it a little bit less, like, this already has a heavy restriction. They couldn't have made this just not fire and earth, just changes orbs, right? I don't know. Would it actually be better if it was Commander and Prosper allies orbs? Because then you would at least know that your characters who are getting revived are also going to orb change, or be part of the orb change. Maybe. I mean, you can play it to where you're matching it, sure, but there's a lot of Earth and Fire characters that are not on these two. And that's going to be kind of a problem, especially in the higher difficulties. Her Valor trait seals magic skills, so that is nice. That is one of the best Valor traits in the game. And then her actual trait, when you send 6 blues, she will lower enemy attack by 5%. So, not super useful in terms of other content except for her own beatdown battle. And then she gets extra 20% ult when you get her to max level, which I don't recommend. And then she gets extra guard power with Rimuru, which we do have a lot of Rimurus already. I'm pretty sure this means that we're going to get a Rimuru this meta. Not always the case, but it happens more often than not. So that's it for the kit. Let's go ahead and show her off in actual fight. I know this is a very long intro, but I had to explain it. Alright, so this is the team that I currently have built for Beatdown Battle. It's cleared Inferno 1. I don't know about Inferno 2 yet, but we've got the new Maribel. We've got Space Violet, because she's a blue orb changer, and she's got that huge magic buff, which everyone on the team is magic. Octagram Lumi is on Commander, so she will get the revive. She won't be part of the orb change, though, and neither will Violet, but Violet's doing her own orb change, so hopefully we can get around that. Rigurd is the free-to-play unit. He's got oranges. Violet is primarily oranges, too, which, I mean, I wish I'd had some green orb changing here, but it is what it is. Lumi, and then EX Earth Mirren. Technically a free unit. You just have to be lucky and pull her from tickets. But she will be our quote-unquote DPS here. And, Mirren, Lumi, and Rieger will, be the orb-changing trio, right? Because they're Earth and Fire, so they'll match up to Lumi's skill. And then Rieger, Lumi's will be on the Commander/Prosper team, and so they will get the revive when we need it. Alright, so the whole gimmick with this team is that you will survive. And it's kind of like how the Vengeance team originally worked out, where you've got guard, you've got a lot of defense, and you're getting those vengeance stacks, which means that eventually the enemy will die. And that was a very effective and efficient way to go through the battle, because all you did was protect yourself. Raphael gave you guaranteed guard, which Maribel is doing, and super guard now. And then you sealed all their attack and their pierce and all this. This is not the same team setup. You are getting guard and super guard, which, is cool. It doesn't protect you from ults. Raphael would seal the attack, crit, and pierce, which would protect you from ults in most scenarios, right? But in this stage, they're raising space attack, physical attack, things that Raphael doesn't seal. So we needed some other way to survive, and they do a lot of damage. They stack up very, very quickly, like an insane amount of stacking on their space attack. And unless you have the revive from Lumi, you're really in for a really rough time. And it's unfortunate that you are, but, they've got to sell the new unit, right? So there, we brought Rieger in for Dark Lumi. Now we had a whole team of Fire and Earth up front, which means that we could use the full convert from Lumi. We'll get a double stack of Maribel. You can apply 2 separate stacks of control on the enemies, and right here, we're going to get 90% weakness strike at the end of the turn, after they hit us. So we'll do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So what, 15% per person times 3, right? And then times 2, because we got 2 different stacks. So guard, super guard, even though she crit, counterattack, super guard, the pierce went through, unfortunately, pierced there. Alright, and then there's control, and now we can take a look at Mirren, who's got now 90% weakness strike, plus extra defense from her trait. And now we've got a handful of greens, right? Well, we do have Lumi again, who will convert that entirely. Boom. 4 blue, or more blues. And then we'll bring Octagram Lumi back in now that we've converted, and we will then apply 2 more stacks of each of her buff. So we've had 2 stacks of the AoE and 1 stack of the ult damage buff, which is permanent. And it's good because we are using 2 AoE-focused characters, Lumi and Mirren. So this, I think, is what we're going to want to do for now until we get the last 2 meta units, and then we'll see, how they affect the team build. I assume Violet's coming out of here, and Mirren's coming out, because we'll get... What is with the green orbs, man? Yeah. Excellent. Thanks a bunch. Love to see it. So, we need to use 25 points here and 55, so that's 80 points. We don't have enough to do anything else, so we're going to swap Lumi out. We'll use Rieger to double alt swap here, and then we'll use the orb change from Lumi again. And again, and you notice that the skill costs are going down passively. That's from Maribel resetting them by 10 points every turn. So this is what the team is supposed to do. You're supposed to live, you're supposed to not take a lot of damage from normal attacks, and then when the nuke actually comes, you're going to survive that because you've got the revive skill from Lumi, and we just have to get to that point. So I think when we get there, I have a couple other clips that I recorded previously, and it shows like how much damage they actually do in Inferno 1, right? In Inferno 1 versus what they're doing right here, right now, with the revive up, and you're protected because it's kind of hard to see the damage numbers there. Alright, so let's alt swap again. Boom. And then we can use Rieger's orb change. Awesome. We'll use Violet's orb change, because we can do hers, and that will take up all of her points, but allows us to kind of reset Lumi a bit, where we don't have to use her, and it gives her a little bit of time where her skill doesn't get too expensive. And then this, at the end of this turn, at the end of turn 5, they're going to give themselves alts, and we're going to, hurt a little bit from that. But I don't want to kill any of them, because I want to get, max... the maximum effect, right? And I want to get max stacks of the weakness strike. So boom, 37k. We're doing good damage. This is EX2, by the way. So there's an alt. Yom is AoE, Gobten, Hakuro are single target. So now we've got our 3 characters who are on the actual... Actually, no, not Mirren, sorry. Mirren comes out of here for Rieger. Boom. Okay. So, we're just going to use the revive skill now. So, boom. Lumi is on Commander, Rieger is on Prosper, and this Lumi is on both Commander and Prosper. So now they have this revive effect on, and it means that for 3 turns, so turn 6, turn 7, and turn 8, they will be unable to be taken out of the game, out of battle, no matter what happens to them. So I'm just going to send these nerfed greens, and we'll watch what happens. So Yom comes in. 8,700 damage. Alright, not a lot. Again, this is EX2. Gobta, 13,000. Alright, and then some follow-up hits. Hakuro, 17,000. She has 0 HP. There's the revive, 30k. And then there's the full heal for these 2. So, Lumi took the AoE. Alright, cool. Took the single target from Hakuro and died, and then immediately came back. Now, if this were a higher difficulty, and the AoE killed her, and then Gobta killed her, and then Hakuro killed her, she would have just revived 3 times in a row. And we'd be, sitting right here on turn 7 as if nothing had ever happened. The guard from Maribel doesn't affect their ults. Guard only affects normal attacks. So, trying to put guard up and praying that you're going to live the ult does absolutely nothing. You need the revive, or you need some other way to reduce their ult damage. Either, defense skills and attack lowering skills from Water Soe, or the ult damage cut from Skill Fused Earth Trainee. Like, those are options you can use. But if you just wanted to survive, you need to play around and make sure that your front line is able to actually revive. And now, turn 7, this is turn 2 of this, and we can probably just go ahead and nuke. So let's bring you in for Rieger. Boom. We don't have enough points to use Lumi, so we're just going to do these 2 other Lumi buffs. And there's no point in using the double stack of Maribel because they're going to die, and it'll only take effect at the end of the turn. So let's turn Lumi's ult on, and we can watch it. Skip battle animations. There we go. Alright, so boom, boom, and then we'll send all this. Alright. So we used a bunch of orb changing for Lumi. We have to play around with it though, because Violet and Octagon Lumi won't be part of that. And then we had to play around with the revive skill because, again, Mirren and Violet would not get that, and they would have taken a lot of damage. So here, before moving on, we're going to cut to a clip of what happens in Inferno 1 when you do not have that revive skill active. Okay, so here is the AoE ult from Yom, and you see what Rieger is... What's his health look like? Yeah, he's got almost full HP. Yom comes in and deletes all of it, essentially. 20,000, without the pierce. If he pierced, he actually probably would have died. So that's a lot of damage right there. And then Gobta comes in, and boom, 29,000. This is Inferno 1. This is the next difficulty up. And then Wadarimu comes in because I wanted a unit for greens, and the follow-up orbs almost kill him right there. And then 30k on Octagram Lumi. So without the revive and without any other supporting skills to help them tank, you're probably going to die. Like, my units have very good gear, and they're all, as duped up as they could be. Rieger isn't, but Lumi was, right? And Wadarimu, he's free to play, technically, yes, but he's type neutral. And everybody got deleted. So, they hit really, really hard. Okay, we're going to go into EX3 Tempered Edge versus Leon and Velzard, who hit very, very hard. He gives himself guaranteed crits, he ults like 3 turns in a row because he's a Spazoid, Velzard has the Frostbite, so we're going to try and protect ourselves by, one, building a mostly Earth and Fire team so we can full convert using Lumi. We brought Exalted Champion Velzard because it's technically a green stage and it's going to help us actually kill, but more so, I'm going to try and show off the whole revival kit outside of Beatdown Battle in other content that is more available to players that's going to be permanent, essentially. So, both Lumis with the same friggin' outfit, and then he's on Determination to Prosper. No, he's on Commander, sorry. He's on Commander. So he'll still get the revive, just like Octagram Lumi did. We could have just left Octagram Lumi for all I care. It serves the same purpose, though. And yeah, we'll just try and tank out all these ults that are guaranteed crits from Leon, and we'll just kind of laugh at it. Alright, so turn 1, we're going to use Erin's Orb Change. She's meant to be used in this stage, so, let's just play to our strengths here. And then we'll bring in Lumi, and we'll also bring in Lumi. Alright, so here we're just going to try and show off the 2 uses that Lumi can do by building a team that can take advantage of both skills. Erin is free to play. She's easy to get. Okay, Guy is old now at this point for an EX character. That's actually a pretty good hand. But I want a full hand of blues. So we're going to go ahead and change it, and then we'll swap Erin away for Rimuru, and we'll start tanking these AoE ults that Leon's going to start throwing out. So let's convert here. Boom. And then we'll bring Rimuru in for Erin, since she is not on Commander or the Prosper team. And there's the Restore, and we'll go ahead and send this on Velzard, I guess. Alright. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So how much damage does Leon do to us here? He does... Okay, so 961, 952, Leon... 5,500 damage. Alright, and then there's a full heal. So boom. We're good there. So now we can full change right here. We'll give ourselves the buff from Velzard. We might actually end up killing Velzard. Not really that important, though. The important idea is that we are alive, and we are back to full HP. So that's pretty nice right there. That is a nice thing to have. And now, okay, hit, Frostbite now, and then another crit ult from Leon. Boom. And now he's got the attack up and the pierce rate, and this is our final turn of the revive/resurrection skill, but he doesn't have an ult anymore, so don't need to worry about it. The point is that we took over 10k damage in those last 2 turns, and if you're a newer player that doesn't have level 100 units and doesn't have good gear, the revive can be a good option for you if you find yourself lacking the power to kill quickly, and you're dying because you need to go 2 extra turns before you actually get the buffs needed to actually win a stage. Lumi can help you with that if you build a team around her, not around the stage that you're taking on. So, you know, I'm not going to finish the stage because it's a waste of stamina, but if you're having trouble beating like EX5 Tempered Edge Veldora, or one of the story quests that goes on for a while, like this guy has a lot of HP, 1.7 million. Is the revive going to help you out when this stage wants primarily a stacking light team who, you know, is not earth and fire, so you can't use Lumi's orb change, and the revive, it only lasts for 3 turns, and Veldora honestly like doesn't hit you super duper duper hard unless you're on like turn 20 or something, when he's stacked up his dark attack and everything. Like, that's really the only time. You know, other stages can hit you hard, but there are other ways around it, either by denying ult, using defense skills. You don't really need this 3-turn, once per battle revive skill, because you have to build such a specific team that it actually takes away from what you're trying to do in the stage itself, right? I don't want to bring Lumi on a stage that nerfs blues, right? Just for the revive. Like, that's not good team building right there. There are times when, you know, units that don't really match up can still work well, but that's for damage support, not defensive support characters. So I mean, I don't really see this as a big win right here. So this wants fire characters, okay, wants fire and magic, sure. Let's put Maribel back on, and we'll leave Benimar or whatever. We'll run this team, sure. We've got a kind of a good mix. We've got crits from Guy and Rimuru technically, although Rimuru is not going to buff Lumi at all, because she's not on Tempest Elite and she's not Dark, so we'll have to use Guy for the alt buff. But, you know, we'll see. We'll see what happens here. Wave 1 of 3. And, I mean, this is the final stage. Oh, wow, okay, thanks. I will take that. Sure. If you're gonna give it to me, then I can't really say no. Alright, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay. I think what I'm trying to say is that there's not a lot of places you're going to use this Lumi. Her skills are restricted heavily. The revive is only useful in this current beatdown battle. And while it is a nice thing to have, it is just a gimmick. Just like this Rimuru that we have, right? His alt steal is a one-time gimmick. And then you can, well, not one time. You can use it over, right? Nope, you can only use it once. Never mind, I lied. I haven't used him forever. It's a one-turn thing. Does it save you some damage? Certainly. Is it useful enough to bring him on a team where he doesn't really fit because, you know, you don't want crits or you don't have any other dark characters or Tempest Elite characters? Not really. Is it worth it to bring the revive if your team is not full of earth and fire and for the orb change and you're not on Prosper or Commander? Probably not really. Probably not really. So, we can orb change here. Boom. All right. We'll go ahead and send these. And yeah, I don't really get it. I know what the devs are going for with this whole defensive I'm gonna survive meta, but making it a limited time use, heavily restricted, just means that you're in for some real shit. Okay. All right. Orb change again. Boom. That's another problem I have with this team, is that green orbs are going to be the bane of them. So I expect whatever unit comes out for this meta will be a green to blue converter. Hopefully, actually, maybe. Rieger is orange. Lumi's got both. Maybe we don't, actually. But, I mean, Tempest Elite got Benimaru, so that kind of helped out. Man, this stage is going for a while, isn't it? Alright, well, convert again. We're just not doing a lot of damage. and we're not really using what we should. But, I don't know. You can call this a bad showcase if you want. I just don't have a lot of places to use Lumi to show you off. Right? There are only a very small amount of stages where I'm actually going to use Survive in its best case scenario. So I don't even want to finish this stage, actually. I don't want to use this team. I really don't want to use this team. Looking through it, you don't need it for training. Limited time events. You know, it's good for the harvest growth, right? You don't need it for the food. Chamber of Memories, you probably can't even use her because it's limited, right? These are not difficult. Jubilee is over. Chamber of Memories, again, you're limited to... You can't even bring her most of the time. Conquest Prime, also limited. Tempered Edge, like, these are old stages. You can clear this with almost anything nowadays. Crucible, not overly hard. Conquest, not really that hard. Maybe, if you're a brand spanking new player and you're taking on the Golem or you're taking on the Orc on turn 6, if you don't kill them, they give themselves a huge buff and they wipe out your front line. Well, with the Revive, if you play it right, you will then just survive. And I guess that would be the best case for newer players. That would be more relevant to them, besides the new beatdown battle. Apart from that, where the fuck are you using her? Where? What team are you building? Do you have the units to build around it? If your answer is no, or I don't know, then that's a pretty good indication that the unit's bad, and you shouldn't summon for her. So, this is a very hateful showcase. I'm sorry. I'm overly bitter about this meta. But it is good news. There is a silver lining. Because it means you shouldn't really be tempted to summon, and you should just save your crystals for something else. This turned into a should you summon video. I did that last night. Whatever. You understand what I'm going for. This whole showcase was meant to prove that Lumi is a gimmicky, heavily restricted unit, and she ain't worth it. So, let me know what you guys think. I will use her in other teams and other showcases and other videos, certainly, but right now, this Lumi ain't it. Just like Summer Lumi kind of just wasn't it last year. Unfortunately, the devs hate Lumi. But that's it from me, guys. Take it easy, and I'll see you all later.